I have prepared a short video about the memory matrix classroom assessment technique. I will discuss what a memory matrix is, when to use it, its advantages and limitations, some strategies to use this technique effectively, and how feedback will be provided to the learners. Classroom assessment opens the opportunity for more than just the improvement of teaching. It has the potential of helping students become better learners as well. A memory matrix is a table with only row and column headings provided. The instructor provides the memory matrix to the learners and has them fill in the responses for the blank cells. For example, this memory matrix assesses students' understanding of medical terminology related to directions. On the left, some directional terms are provided. At the column headings, the instructor asks the students to describe the term and also provide an example. As you can see, the memory matrix requires learners to recall important course content and also organize that information based on its relationship with the headings. To use this technique, the instructor first needs to create a memory matrix with column and row headings. The instructor should also create an answer key using terminology that aligns with the learning outcomes and what was taught in class. When the instructor is satisfied that all of the information fits well into the completed matrix, they should provide copies of the blank matrix to their students and give instructions for the learners. It may be helpful for the instructor to provide guidance on how much information should be written in each cell and set a reasonable time limit. The learners submit their completed matrix and the instructor assesses the responses for correctness and completeness. Careful analysis of the results may reveal areas that require reteaching or misalignment in course content and instructional delivery. Memory matrix is best used to assess student recall and basic understanding in courses with lots of informational content. It's also useful for solidifying knowledge of keywords. The memory matrix can be used for individual, group, or class assessment, and it has many variations. Memory matrix can also be used as a pre-assessment or post-assessment. One of the advantages of memory matrix is that it requires only moderate levels of time and energy for the instructor to prepare and then analyze. Students have to expend a low amount of time and energy to use this assessment. When completed, the matrix produces a simple graphic with minimal written information so that it can be read and assessed quickly. It also serves as a useful study tool for students, especially for those who are strong visual learners. And finally, it helps students manage, organize, and learn large amounts of information. Memory matrix is not without its limitations. When the instructor provides a matrix with row and column headings, the students are unable to use their own method of categorizing. Because of its simple presentation, the matrix may make complex dynamic systems seem static. It also doesn't allow the instructor any way of knowing which responses came from pre-existing knowledge and what information was learned in the class. To successfully use the memory matrix assessment technique, the instructor should introduce the students to the format by first giving them a simple matrix with only 2 or 3 rows and columns. Some information may not fit squarely into only one cell on the matrix. The instructor might need to clarify if the information seems to overlap under more than one heading. Instructors should also emphasize to students that this technique simplifies information that in reality may be very complex. This technique provides immediate feedback to the learners on how well they have learned the specific content and where their knowledge gaps may be. But the instructor must also provide feedback to maximize the positive impact of the assessment. Instructors must tell the learners what the assessment results were, noting common errors and acknowledging successes, how the results were interpreted, and what the instructor intends to do in response. If instructors recognize common knowledge gaps, for example, they need to respond by going back and reteaching the concept. To include the learners in the feedback loop, instructors might want to ask the students what they found difficult about completing the matrix. The instructor should also provide individual feedback to learners who had difficulty with the assessment. It may be helpful for the instructor to use the same matrix to reassess knowledge after they have retaught a lesson. Students will continue to be motivated to participate in classroom assessment techniques if they see that assessment can make a difference in their learning and in the instructor's teaching.
Created using Powtoon.